Hello, friends. Happy Wednesday, and welcome to today's live level up conversation. Whether you're tuning in live or catching me on replay, I'm so happy to have you here. Thank you so much for making the time. Happy Wednesday. Let's dive right in.
Welcome to Level Up with Winnie Sun. Market update. Speed round. Award-winning financial pro. And now, get ready. I present to you Level Up with Winnie Sun.
Hello, and happy Wednesday. I see Joshua, I see CrossX Fighter on YouTube. It's great to welcome you to the show. It's great to have all of you joining me live. I'm Winnie, your host, an award-winning financial pro, Forbes contributor, and a CNBC council member and contributor as well. We are streaming here live, and I'm so grateful to see the comments rolling in. We are going to be following live comments throughout the show. So thanks so much for making the time. The market hasn't closed yet, but it's good news. It's green across the board currently. The Dow is currently up 281 points. The Nasdaq's up over 14 points as well, and the S&P 500 is currently up over 18. So we'll certainly take it. I like good news, and hopefully we end the week on even better news, right? But some of the news that has been coming up on social media and on the web. There's a lot of topics coming out that I want to make sure that I share with you. You know, sometimes we talk about personal finance, sometimes we talk about business news, sometimes it's more just like lifestyle finance, but nonetheless, it just goes to show you how many interesting stories continue to come in every day. You thought business was boring or finance was boring. No, siree. Lots of fun stuff. In fact, today's big news that I'm going to share with you a couple, but one thing that is sort of a big move. It just shows that doesn't matter what size of an entrepreneur you are, you're always going to need to pivot and sometimes to take risks. And one risk that is being taken right now is being done by the one and only Elon Musk via Tesla. Tesla is doing something pretty bold, sort of changing the way that they do business. And I thought I would share with you how they're pivoting. They're now going to make sure that every new delivery, if you're going to pick up your new Tesla, is every new delivery is now going to include a demo to showcase their full self-driving beta. So this came out a story on Electric by Fred Lambert this week, talking about Elon Musk's new directive that he's instructed staff in North America in particular to not only demonstrate but also install the full self-driving FSD beta software in every customer delivery of every vehicle. Now, this new goal is to familiarize you and I, if we're buying a new Tesla, of the capabilities and sort of operational operational setup of Tesla's new FSD technology so that we can actually test this by ourselves firsthand. I don't know about by ourselves, maybe not by ourselves. Probably they might have somebody else in the car. I'm not sure. That'll be interesting for those of you who are maybe taking delivery soon. I'd love to see what your experience with. Definitely send me a message and let me know. But about FSD beta, it's now operating as a level 2, and what that means is it sort of has advanced driver assistance system or ADAS. So this new FSD beta is designed to automate driving not only on the freeways by itself, but also on city streets as well. Now they're saying that, one of the reasons why they did this is that people haven't been adopting this technology when they purchase vehicles to the degree that they want to. And Elon's thought process is probably that maybe people just need to test it out. They need to get a feel of what it can do for people to decide that they want to spend the money to add this to their new vehicle. So, despite the advanced capabilities of the technology, currently it requires the driver's constant attention still. And that's what equals level 2. So, it doesn't quite let you, hands free, take a nap, play video games, check your social media, whatever. I know some of you probably were hoping for that. But nonetheless, this is sort of version 12 of FSD beta, and they're saying significant advancements have occurred and that eventually it will evolve to being a fully autonomous system that doesn't require you to keep your eyes on the road. Hmm. kind of scary, but I can see how people might want to take a nap in the car, right? So that is what it is. But currently, this one of the reasons perhaps that not everybody is signing up for this FSD package in the past was because it has a one-time fee of $12,000, or you could pay, I guess, $200 monthly. But as we know, subscriptions can definitely add up, and it's never a great thing to have those on your financial budget as well. And so the adoption rate here in North America is suggested to be below 20% of people who buy Teslas actually have added this technology. So they're hoping that this will, help this along. So I'm curious, for those of you who are with me live right now, and I see a lot of you on all the different platforms, would this be enough for you to add this to your Tesla? Do you feel like if you tested it and you got a chance to try it, that you would pay $12,000 to add this technology, even though it's not quite there yet, right? Now, being that technology is moving so quickly, you might say yes. But I will say that someone who does drive a Tesla, who's had a Tesla for a while now, looking back, I'm glad I didn't add it to my vehicle, because I don't really couldn't use it, right? Because it's not its full capacity. And also, sort of definitely saved me some money, and that money definitely went ahead to be invested in things like that. So for me, wasn't necessary. For those of you who are Tesla drivers out there, I want to hear from you. Definitely put in comments. Number one, did you buy it? Have you used its limited capabilities? Did you feel like it was worth it? And most importantly, on your new vehicle, if you're going to go with a new Tesla or any other vehicle, what do you think about that? Would you want it as an option? And what would it take for you to add it to your vehicle? I see Linda sharing as comments here. Linda is saying that I love driving, so I would not opt for that feature. My husband's the same way. My husband absolutely loves driving, and I can't see him using that to full capability. But I do know a lot of friends who use that sort of more limited feature, and they think it's wonderful. They're long commuters, and they're saying it really makes a significant difference on those really long commutes, especially when there's traffic. Yeah. So we'll see. They're talking about also, obviously, adding some referral benefits to FSD via Tesla. And they're also talking about, well, we can't really discount the idea of how much it costs to the vehicle. And this article does kind of delve into that, and how, if you want really for people to adopt this new technology, not only do you want to expose people to like how great it is, but also you want to make sure they can get that cost down, because 12,000 it still seems as quite a big investment when you're already buying a pretty expensive electric vehicle, right? So thank you so much for sharing this. And Paul is also sharing comments I see coming from X, previously known as Twitter, and also sharing why is this their slow uptake of this technology in Africa. So if anybody knows the answer, definitely jump in. You can answer Paul's question. I'm sure there's information online, but good question, Paul. It's probably also um, slowing down in terms of full adoption in many parts of the country and parts of the world. I'm thinking part of it has to do with the capabilities, right? That maybe it doesn't work to the degree that it needs to be. Otherwise, it probably would have been approved in the United States as well, but it's not there yet. And let's not forget the cost. 12,000 is a lot of money. I'm not sure how much it is in Africa, but I'm imagining it's not like it's cheap, right? So it is what it is. Speaking of things that are not cheap, let's move on to my next story. And this is talking about, I don't know if you heard about this, but there's this big antitrust suit on the whole topic of credit card fees. So there's been a development there. This is from the Associated Press. The Visa and MasterCard companies have now reached a pretty big groundbreaking settlement with United States merchants here. Mostly, in fact, the majority of these are small business owners, over the cost of swipe fees. Every time you swipe a credit card, the merchant gets billed a small percentage of that, right? So this is a significant turn in the legal battle that has actually been taking place for the last 20 years, 2 decades. They've been trying to fight about swiping fees. Now, this development is sort of a big thing. This is hoping to alleviate some of the financial pressures on businesses. And of course, this could potentially translate to lower costs for you and I, users of credit cards. But That being said, there's still more to flush out in this because the Visa and MasterCard's agreement with the US merchants does, of course, address some of the long standing swipe fees, but that's not all. There's more to this story. In fact, 90% of the merchants involved in this settlement case are small businesses, which suggests sort of a broader based relief for financial burdens of swipe fees and also entrepreneurship here in the United States. Now, how this is going to be impactful for you and I if you're not retail business that pays swipe fees is that this will cap sort of these interchange fees until the year 2030. And this is introducing new fee negotiations, and the settlement may actually reduce the costs passed to you and I, hoping that this will create savings for purchases that we use credit cards, debit cards, things like that. But I wouldn't hold my breath on that. I know that's what was mentioned in the article. I don't quite believe that. And I shared that with you because if you think about it, right, in the beginning of the pandemic, a lot of businesses were suffering, right? And then so inflation continued to creep up. And then the government created certain benefits to kind of draw down inflation. But even so, a lot of businesses can continue to keep those prices high. So I can't really guess that a lot of business would then pass the savings to their consumers. Now, if they did, that would be great, and I would be all for that. But to be realistic, right? If you're talking about small businesses, maybe small restaurants, mom and pop restaurants, right? Not the chain restaurants, perhaps, but restaurants that have already been suffering for quite a few years now. If they're getting a discount on their swipe fees, you really think we're going to see that in terms of the consumer? Maybe, and I hope so, but I don't know if that's the case. So I'm not quite believing. So if I want to hear what you think. Do you think that if the swipe fees go down, that'll impact how much you're paying? Yeah, let me know. So in 2018, a partial settlement was reached with the two card issuers, Visa and MasterCard, agreeing to a $6.2 billion payment. That already occurred. That was 2018. And I don't think we really saw that much of a difference since then. So basically, back then, MasterCard didn't admit to any wrongdoing as part of settlement, but nonetheless, changes are slated for implementation. And of course, there needs to be final approval by the Eastern Court of New York, which is anticipated for later this year or early next year. So still some time. But nonetheless, I think what it does do, and this story, why it is important, is it continues to bring to light just of all these transaction fees and swipe fees and how they affect not only businesses in our community but ourselves as well. So it gives us an idea of how important and how impactful this is to your bottom line as well. Now I will say that many people will say, well, why don't you just use cash, right? Go back to days of cash and coin and go back to using your checking account or your debit card. But I do think in today's day, that's not quite as realistic, right? With all so much of our activities being online, not having access to a credit card, I think can sort of slow down some of the efficiencies of day-to-day spending and financial life in general. So, I mean, even with my own kids, I have them set up with authorized users on my credit cards. And I think it's important that they have that because it also helps them build credit at a very young age. But we can't continue to be afraid of these tools, but we just have to find a way to use them in a smart way that benefits us as well. That works for us, right? Everybody's different. And I see Linda saying that she agrees. So thank you so much for that. I do think, yeah, that this is sort of going in the right direction. But what that really means is sort of wait to tell, right? All right. Next story I have for you is one that I think this just came up on the new business news, and it is business news. And I just thought it was I want to see what you think about this. Okay, so McDonald's is teaming up with Krispy Kremes to offer a donut in donuts, I should say, in all their locations. This is coming soon. This article came from CNN from Rami Shah Maroof, and talking about this is a significant collaboration and like talking about two big, well-known food brands, right? So I think investors have been kind of excited about. The market seems to have responded positively to this. But that being said, I'm more curious about how you feel about this as a consumer, and whether or not this excites you or just I don't even care about this. So this strategic partner is slated to kick off this year, and it's going to sort of redefine what McDonald's offers for breakfast, aligning with sort of Krispy Kreme's idea of expansion and their goal of just being in more areas so more people can access their donuts. So McDonald's is going to start selling 3 flavors of Krispy Kreme donuts. Of course, the original, the chocolate ice with sprinkles, and their chocolate ice cream filled donut. So I guess this must be their most popular ones. I don't know. This is hoping to enhance this breakfast menu and attract donut lovers. I'm gonna say, just as a mom, like, I don't think donuts are appropriate breakfast offering, but I guess I shouldn't judge here. But so far it seems that people are kind of excited about this. This alliance does open avenues to reach new customers and expand brand expansion. But of course, one of the things people are saying is like, is this gonna be really good? Now, have you ever been to a Krispy Kreme outlet directly? One of the cool things that I did this when my kids were younger, we took them to the Krispy Kreme's outlet. They stood in line and they were seeing how donuts were made. And then they were offered a free sample by the Krispy Kreme friendly attendant. And this was like a nice, warm, soft, you know, so crispy Krispy Kreme donut. And they thought it was the best thing ever. Now, the thing is, McDonald's, I don't think, from my research, is going to be offering a freshly baked donut or freshly fried donut, I should say, right? So is that going to be the same experience? I don't know, but nonetheless, they're talking about there's going to be some logistical hurdles, ensuring that the donut is really really fresh, and also some remote locations in McDonald's. We know, like when you're driving like far out into the boonies, and maybe the only thing that you see is a McDonald's, is that location still going to have a fresh donut? They're saying that is some of the challenges they're going to work out. And of course, McDonald's is navigating pricing pressures and focusing on consumer habits and just making sure that they have affordability in their price adjustments to continue to have that demand of cost conscious consumers across the globe. So Krispy Kreme, of course, now celebrating this new partnership with a promotional offer of a free glazed donut. I'm not sure if that means it's going to be at their Krispy Kreme locations, but if you're going to go and make a visit, maybe just make a phone call or check on Twitter or X and send a message and see what they say and see where you can get your free donut. But in our experience has been in at least local Krispy Kremes here. So if you go in there to a local store and you kind of like, talk, they usually give you a free donut when you're waiting in line. So perhaps you'll get it whether or not the promotion is happening. But this partnership is phased for a national rollout, and it's supposed to take place very, very soon at the end, and sort of doubling Krispy Kreme's access points, which are their original plan was to double locations that you could get Krispy Kremes by 2026. So maybe this is going to speed things up a little bit. But nonetheless, congratulations to both parties. Hopefully you're excited about it, and I'm just curious to see how you feel about this. Right? Looks like, let's see, we see Cross-Check Fighter say McDonald's and Krispy Kreme. I love those places. Okay, so it looks like Cross-X Fighter is very excited about that, loving this new partnership. Cool. Linda is saying now with the high prices of cocoa, McDonald's might consider another flavor. Interesting, Linda. Like, thank you for that feedback too, that perspective. Well, let me ask you this. What flavors would you recommend that they introduce at McDonald's? I guess, I know McDonald's coffee was really, really popular, or it continues to be very popular. I know my dad, he would just go with his buddies and get senior citizen coffee at McDonald's, and that was like their big thing every time they finished their weekend walks. But curious to see what you think about that. I'll be honest, I haven't been to McDonald's in a really really long time, but I know it's super convenient. It's a lot of places that don't have a lot of other food offerings. So there you go. With that, let's continue to take a look at the market. Currently, Dow is up 259 points. The Nasdaq is up 16, S&P 500 is up 17. And guess what? We got 3 minutes to go before the hour. And that means that you can join me on X, which used to be called Twitter, because we have a big tweet chat happening in literally 3 minutes. So what you want to do is jump on, search for hashtag Winnie Sun. We're having a discussion with Jim Katamin about the topic of financial freedom, and we're going to be handling discussions like how do you mitigate financial debt. I think it's going to be a really, really fun discussion. So definitely jump in. We're talking like 2 minutes. I'll be there in just seconds. And then we'll have a great talk. And with that, thank you so much for being a part of our Level Up community today. Do me a favor and subscribe and share the show. And if you do, make sure to tag at Winnie Sun so I can probably thank you. With that, if you want to see full episodes, check out NASDAQ. And of course, check out our podcast, Yes Factor with Winnie Sun, on Apple Podcasts or wherever you tune in. With that, be well. I'll see you again tomorrow. Take care now. Bye bye.